Watertown's Historical Society has had it as one of its missions the education of our children to the importance of history, and specifically Watertown's history. We are proud to join with the schools in this effort. Recently, as a result of the Soldiers Monument project, an essay contest was conducted at the high school about the meaning of this monument. One of the fun things is they made a wall of what's now called selfies. For those of you that don't know, that's just a camera taking a picture of themselves, and for extra credit, what they had to do was take a picture of themselves with the statue. And when I visited the high school first, for the distribution of 200 brochures on Watertown Civil War history to the seniors, while I was there, we looked at a bulletin board, and there were 2 of these photographs there, as well as the statue with the nose missing. Well, when I went back, what happened was that wall was filled with about 50 pictures. So a lot of students have come by to take a look at the work, take a look at the statue, and hopefully appreciate the history and the sacrifice of the soldiers of that time. What I would like to do is ask you to please join me in welcoming the winner of the essay contest on the statue and its meaning. Please join me in welcoming Ashley Smith to read this wonderful composition.
If you were ever to go on a trip to another country, the first thing you usually do is visit the historical monuments. You go to see the beautifully made sculptures and buildings that are left with the question why. What is so important about these statues and ancient houses that attract tourists all over the world? Many will argue that seeing monuments gives us a connection to the past, as if it was something our ancestors have left us for a reminder of their existence and their experiences. Most monuments have a story behind them, such as the Soldiers Monument right in our own town. The Soldiers Monument was a statue built to remember and honor those who served and died during the Civil War. When you go to visit it, it is time for mourning and respect for those who helped us live today. Without those that we're dedicating this to, who knows where we would be at this point of time. Upon visiting, you are instantly grieving at the loss of a group of amazing people who made our lives better today. As humans, we are easily distracted by our daily stresses, work, our kids, our families, meetings, and appointments that we almost forget about our forefathers and those from the past who gave us the opportunity to even experience such emotions. While visiting these landmarks, we pause our lives for a second and cherish their history. It makes us realize that these were actual people, and although we don't see them or ever got to meet them, they existed and are important to our lives now. We go to museums of ancient artifacts of our own interest to see what happened back then. We compare our lives today to those who lived years ago, as it can either illustrate improvement or failure in our communities that we live in right now. That same goes for monuments. Depending on the monument and what they're symbolizing, we reflect on ourselves and see how different these times are in a matter of just a few decades or centuries. We ask the question, how are we going to leave our mark on the world when we are no longer here? How will the future generations view us? How will they have the same respect for us as we do of those in our past? Monuments are also just interesting to look at. Imagine that the actual statue was built a certain time ago, and how people alive back then actually worked on it and basically left us a little treasure to remember them by. It's wonderful to think about, and plus all the handiwork and carvings are also beautiful, and it makes you step back and really admire it. It's a feeling you get when you find out you're standing in a place that somebody noteworthy once has stood. It's the awe and amazement that makes it such a fun experience. It shows our achievements in the past and broadcasts what our city and what our country is all about. It gives tourists and outsiders a glance into why we're here and why where we live is a great place and how we contribute to the world around us. It's like a trophy that we show off to others. Monuments and landmarks are really important to who we are today, and next time you visit one, take a moment and reflect on the history that our ancestors graciously left behind for us.
Thank you very much, Ashley, and on behalf of the Historical Society of Watertown, we'd like to give you these 2 gifts. One is a book on the history of the battlefields of Gettysburg before and now, of all the Civil War. And also, this is a first issue edition of a Civil War stamp for the history. So thank you very much and congratulations.